Ooh. Hey, welcome. You're in my media room, where I try to catch as many movies as I can with the time that I do have. But I was sitting here and I was thinking about a movie that came out when I grew up. Actually, my senior year of high school. It was called The Deep Blue Sea. Basic story: you have a sci-fi thriller where you have a bunch of intelligent sharks that are sort of creating mayhem in this underwater lab. And the thing that I remember most about it is, for everything that happened, the whole goal of all the stuff the sharks actually did was to escape. That was the big deal. It was to escape. It was the lure of the deep blue sea, and it took some of the characters a while to kind of figure that out, but that was revealed as one of the big pieces at the end. And so, thinking about that, freedom is such an important thing, uh, and everyone needs it in some capacity. And so, it got me thinking, man, what's different about my childhood as opposed to my kids' childhood? And so, again, high school in '99, when I grew up, computers were just becoming a thing, right? So all the stuff that you had, the cell phones. I know we had an at home computer when I was in high school, and that was like a huge plus, right? One of the few folks actually have that. But these days, man, I mean, kids just they kind of have it all. But but the thing that's interesting is I wanted to take a look at what was freedom in my generation. In my generation, freedom was transportation. I remember the biggest deal when I was a kid was actually learning how to ride a bike, because once you could ride a bike, you could go around the neighborhood a lot faster than it took to walk. And you could congregate with friends, you could go a bunch of different places, but having a bike was like the thing. So I know once I actually knew how to ride a bike, that was a primary mode of transportation wherever I ended up going. And again, it extended your range. I mean, you can only go so far when you walked, but man, when you rode a bike, you could just fly, right? So fast forward a couple years, and I'm taking a look at my kids nowadays, and I'm thinking, hey, you gotta teach your kid how to ride a bike. So that's what I grew up with. So I figured, hey, you know what? Let me actually give it to my kids as well. And it was a struggle because before I didn't have any time to teach them, because I was going to work. The kids were going to wherever they had to go, and there was just never enough time. Then the weekends come, and you wanted to do a bunch of different things. But nowadays, I had the opportunity to teach them both how to ride bikes, and they weren't very interested. It kind of was like a fleeting thing, like, oh yeah, let's learn how to ride a bike, yay. I mean, they weren't super excited about it, right? But if you look at the things they're super excited about, it's all about screen time. It's all about the iPad and the Kindle and all these various things. And then I kind of realized it, right? Is that my freedom, again, everyone my generation, the freedom was transportation. It was going outside and it was being free. And nowadays, especially with the pandemic, freedom is freedom to go online, freedom to communicate with your friends. And even if you can't do the physical aspect as far as being in close proximity, the freedom of communication, that is gold. That is gold. So I'm getting it a little bit better now, because the way to appeal to my kids isn't really with the bikes and the transportation, it's with screen time. So when my son actually got his phone, that was his all freeing moment. With everything else that he had, this was the one device that he could take with him wherever he was going and instantly be connected with information that he wanted and needed. Instantly be connected with his friends and whatever they wanted to talk about. So that's it. So really, I think I have a foot on either side. Growing up, I was more or less in an industrial age, and in that industrial age, it was all about freedom to go where you wanted to go, and transportation was going to get you there. But these days, I'm on that other foot. And that other foot is the information age, and in this information age, having information, that's the deep blue sea. So before, transportation for me was that deep blue sea. After, information age, especially with the kids now, uh, computers, phones, any device that can actually give them information in real time, even a lot of the smart home things that we actually have installed around here. So that's the deep blue sea. So it's important to understand and know what that is, because just like riding a bike, you may know how to ride a bike, but you may not necessarily know where you want to go on that bike. You have to have a destination in mind, and you want to know how you're going to get there. And the same thing goes when you actually go online. You need to have rules around that as well, because the biggest thing with wherever you go is you need an educational component. It's not just general guidelines. You need to have everything uh, just kind of laid out so that you just have a better path forward. So with that, and with the information age bringing that much more into the home and information and just everything, that's where you have to start figuring out what guidelines are you going to create for yourself and for your family, where you actually can dictate the amount of time you're actually spending on the screen, because you don't want to spend all day every day on these things. You actually want to start interacting, with folks, and that's where that physical component, we can't lose that. We can't lose that. So everything that is going on, make sure that you actually take that opportunity to sit down and, just get together with friends and family and have that moment, have those moments, have those opportunities. And again, sometimes I feel like, you may have to do it over technology, but again, whatever you can do to connect with other folks face to face, I think is something that can never be avoided or forgotten. So, hope you appreciated this clip. Just wanted to talk a little bit more about what that deep blue sea is. So, I'm curious if the deep blue sea for you, if you're not of my generation, it wasn't transportation, and you don't think it is information, the information age as far as communications, what do you think your deep blue sea is, or do you think the deep blue sea is now that is freedom for you, or for what you think this world actually needs?